The movie starts with Loak seeing a vision from the sacred tree with his brother Neteyam riding their Ikran. When they land, Neteyam asks how I died. Loak says, "Your death is my fault. You died because of me, because we were going to save Spider." Neteyam says, "It's not your fault." Neytiri is still weeping for the loss of her son and praying for him. Jake is collecting weapons from the sea. Jake sees a small blasting bullet. Loak sees the bow of his mother. He brings it to the boat. Jake says, "Do not show the bow to your mother." They bring the guns to the village. People are watching. Tonawari and Ronal also come. Ronal calls Sireya because she is not happy that she is collecting guns. Jake gives a gun to them, but they refuse. Ronal says, "Metal weapons poison the heart. Iwa will provide." She blames Jake for not being with his family. Jake says, "My son is with the ancestors. We cannot fight battleships with spears." Tonawari says, "We need the rider, not the guns." He tells Jake to ride the great Toruk. Jake refuses, saying, "When you ride the beast, you become a beast, and I will not do that again." Tonawari's family leaves. Quaritch and others are looking for Na'vi bodies. Quaritch asks for a ship from General Admor. Admor says, "I already gave you a ship, and it is at the bottom of the ocean now." Quaritch says, "I am not backing off," and leaves. Jake gives the weapon he found in the sunken ship to his wife. Neytiri puts it aside. Jake says, "He is a Marine. I am not taking a knife to a gunfight." Neytiri cries, saying, "I have nothing left except my faith." Jake hugs her and says, "You have me." Loak, Spider, Kiri, Sireya, and Roto are playing with Payakan and other Tulkuns. Sireya says, "Tulkun bears all the dead." Loak thanks Payakan for saving them. Spider's mask is beeping because the battery runs out while they are all asleep. Kiri wakes up and wakes the others. They look for spare masks. They put one on Spider. They hear a sound of a horn. Sireya says the wind traders are coming. She is happy. People buy things. Jake shows Spider to the leader of the trading group. Jake gathers others and says Spider will be sent to High Camp to live with Norm, but all the others disagree. Jake says Spider is one battery away from death. Neytiri joins the talk and says he belongs with his kind. Kiri criticizes what Neytiri said. They all leave, disrespecting Jake. After that, Jake says they all will go on that trip to drop Spider. Jake meets the trader and says, "We won't be any trouble." The trader says, "Traders do not choose a side in this war. Having Toruk Makto on board is like choosing a side." Jake refuses that and agrees to fly outside with his wife as outsiders, protecting them. The trader agrees, saying there can be Manquan raiders on the way. The Metkaina tribe says goodbye to them. They start the journey. Loak asks Jake for permission to carry a gun. Jake asks, "Where are your comms?" Loak does not have comms with him. Jake refuses his request. Lyle Wainfleet shows the trader group in their airspace and informs Quaritch. They see Jake's family. They get ready to move out. Ash people, also known as the Monkwan clan, see the trading group. They start attacking. Jake tells Loak to protect yourself and leaves. Loak takes a gun and forgets to wear comms. When he remembers, he goes to see them and he sees they are burning. Loak tells Spider to stay with the girls and gets onto his Ikran. He flies, shooting. An arrow hits his Ikran and it falls. He manages to get onto the ship. The Ikran falls. Attackers try to pierce the balloon. Jake shoots them. Varang, leader of the clan, sees that. She shoots an arrow at her own member and he starts to burn. The man falls onto the balloon. The balloon starts to burn. Jake gets away. Varang sees Neytiri and shoots an arrow at her. It pierces Neytiri's chest. Neytiri and Varang start to fight in the sky. Spider, Kiri, and Tuk get onto the Ikran and start to fly away from the balloon. Neytiri falls from her Ikran during the fight. She falls into the jungle, unconscious. Spider sees Loak on the ship. They get him. The ship falls into the jungle, burning. An attacker shoots an arrow at Spider's Ikran. They also fall into the jungle. They tend to each other. Spider's mask starts to beep. He tells Loak, "We have to go to the ship to get the batteries." Loak and Spider see Varang, the leader of the attackers, kill a person by touching the hair. Ash people see them. They start to run. Ash people follow.
Loak kills 2 of them by shooting. Varang sees the dead bodies. She takes a bullet from a dead body and bites it. Quaritch and Lyle come to the place and see what happened. Ash people see the runaways. Loak and others get into a water stream. They go along the stream. Jake comes to see what happened to others. He tries to contact them. Neytiri's Ikran comes to her while she is unconscious.
Loak and others come to a shore. They have to get the batteries for Spider's mask. They start to move to the ship. While searching, Jake sees the mask and batteries of Spider. When he gets them, he hears the voice of Quaritch. Quaritch and Lyle catch Jake and tie his hands. Neytiri gets onto the Ikran in Hain. Quaritch asks about the raiders. He also sees they have cut the queues of enemies. Quaritch also finds Spider's mask and batteries. Jake tells them to find Spider before Spider's battery runs out. Quaritch agrees and tells Jake to track them while he is handcuffed. Loak and others move searching the ship. Spider falls to the ground, breathing heavily. Loak starts to carry him. At a moment, Spider falls onto the ground. Kiri starts to pray. Loak says there is no time and starts to move carrying him. Kiri sees wood sprites. She looks at them. She tells Loak to keep Spider at a root. She gathers the light from the wood sprites and feeds Spider and starts to pray to Awa. Spider is covered with roots. They remove his mask. Loak detaches her queue when she starts to tremble. Spider gets up. Now he can breathe without a mask. They are happy. Suddenly, the Mongquan clan attacks them. Varang looks at Loak's gun. Meanwhile, Jake and the other 2 find them. They see what the Mongquan clan does to Loak and others. Quaritch is amazed when he sees Spider breathe without a mask. Varang also sees Spider breathe without a mask. Varang and Kiri start to argue about Awa. Quaritch loosens Jake's mans and gives him a knife when Jake asks. Varang tells Loak to show her how to shoot. Loak says no thunder because there are no bullets in it. Varang tells her crew to kill Took. Raiders go to kill Took. Jake and Quaritch attack them. Quaritch grabs Varang and tells others to put down weapons. Varang grabs Quaritch's queue. He screams in pain. Raiders push Jake to the floor. Meanwhile, Lyle watches the scene from the side. He is also caught. Varang tells Quaritch to show how to shoot. Quaritch shows her. She starts to shoot. Neytiri reaches the camp. People tend to her wounds. Ash people celebrate dancing around fires. Jake and others cannot move because their hands and legs are tied. Kiri connects her queue to the ground. It creates a connection to a plant. The plant shoots the guards around them. The guards die. They escape. The Mongquan clan notices they escaped. They start to follow. Neytiri wakes up and tries to get out of the bed. She wants to search for her children. Others ask where they are. Jake and others start to rest. Jake and Quaritch argue about their unresolved problems. Meanwhile, Mongquan people search for them from the sky. In the morning, they hear something coming. Jake wakes others and starts to move. Jake sees they are their friends and family. They share happiness of getting together again. Norm Spellman is amazed when he sees Spider breathe without a mask. They come to the camp. Parker Selfridge gets to know about Spider. He explains to General Ardmore how important this is to colonize the planet. Jake makes a warning about Spider. He asks Norm to remove this change from Spider's body, because if RDA scientists reverse engineer it, every human will be able to breathe without a mask. They check Spider and see a queue has started to grow from his head. Kiri tries to connect with Awa. She asks why the Great Mother Awa did not listen to her in the jungle. Awa does not answer. She worries about that. Others console her. Jake tells the truth that she was born without a father. When Grace's body was lying under the sacred tree, a seed was planted. Norm warns her not to try to connect with Awa. It could kill her. He explains that to her. Jake senses the danger of having Spider with his breathing capability because it can attract RDA people. Neytiri suggests killing him. Mike Scoresby comes with his crew and kills a Tulkun for his investigation. Jake and his family return to the Metkaina tribe. Tonawari tells Jake that a ship came and killed a Tulkun. Their Tulkuns have called a council. It is hard for Neytiri to shoot arrows due to injury. Ronald deals with Neytiri's wound. They argue about Kiri. They even try to fight. In the Tulkun Council, it is decided to exile Payakan, the friend of Loak, for life. Payakan moves away. Loak starts to argue in the middle of the council, saying he fought for us. Jake drags him out of the place and explains to him that they are at war.
Jake explains they cannot argue with them. Loak leaves, blaming him. Neytiri tells Jake to talk to Loak. She is afraid of losing him too. Neytiri tells how she hates humans. Jake asks, "Do you hate me too, then? Do you hate our children for their human nature?" Neytiri moves away. Jake goes after her and tries to console her. Loak comes to the sea with a gun and tries to shoot himself. He throws the gun away. Kiri and Sireya come looking for him. Kiri tells him to stay in this life. They get the bow of their ancestors. Sireya says the bow can be fixed. The family moves on with their usual work. Spider starts to ride sea creatures. Meanwhile, Quaritch and his team attack the clan in the forest. Quaritch goes to the Ash People. Ash People capture him and take him to Varang. Varang sees he has brought guns. When Varang tries to touch his queue, he threatens her by killing one of her members. She invites him inside and does fire witchcraft. She gets to know he is looking for two people. They are Jake and Spider. Then she blows something into his nose. Quaritch's visions become unclear, and he hears her speak about how Awa turned her back on their people when they needed her help, how she turned into fire. She asks why he is here.
He says, "I am here for you," and explains what she can get. He promises weapons and communication equipment. He gives them what was promised. Sireya tells Loak that her brothers heard the songs of Payakan. Loak gives the bow to Neytiri. She cries and hugs him. Loak leaves to find Payakan. Jake is informed about his son's departure. Loak looks for Payakan over the ocean. The Mangquan clan attacks other clans while finding Jake Sully. When Spider and Kiri come bringing water from the forest, Ash People surround them. Spider sends Kiri another way. Ash People follow Spider. Colonel Mills catches Spider. Varang appears and connects with Spider's queue and makes him unconscious. Mangquan clans fly away taking him. Jake sees a huge flying battleship arriving. Mills puts Spider on the ship and comes to the Medcayena tribe village. They call Jake. Jake tries to send his wife and children away, but Neytiri refuses to go. He tells Kiri and Tuck to hide and decides to stay with Jake. Mills gives orders to burn the village. Jake appears. Mangquan clan drops their weapons. Jake tells them to take him and leave the people alone. Mills disagrees and wants to flatten the village. Jake hears that and raises his arm. Medcayena tribe grabs weapons. Jake and Mills start to argue. Varang says to burn them all. Finally, Mills agrees to take Jake and do nothing to the village. Neytiri shoots an arrow at Mills. Mills takes the arrow and says, "See another time." They bring Jake and Spider to the camp. Mills introduces Varang to General Ardmore. First, General Ardmore refuses to keep them inside, but later she agrees. People shout in happiness. Scientists examine Spider. Loak looks for Payakan. Sireya and her brothers follow him and find him. Suddenly, a sea creature like a squid attacks Loak. A Tolkien comes and saves Loak again. Sireya and others bring him to the surface. They hug each other. Sireya says Payakan is close. Spider tries to escape. Mills comes to him and talks. Spider asks to keep his dog tag. Mills gives it to him. Loak and his friends find Payakan. Payakan has found his birth clan, but only one is still alive. His name is Tanakh. People have blinded him and shot at him. Scoresby and his crew plan to slaughter all the Tolkiens in the ocean. Marine biologist named Ian Garvin protests against them. General Ardmore stops him. He moves aside. Mills comes to meet Jake. He tells about his plans. Neytiri opens a weapon box and takes a look at it. Spider escapes through an opening using the dog tag. Neytiri attacks 3 Ash People and kills them. Soldiers come to give meals to Jake. Ian Garvin takes a photo of the lock of the cabin where Jake is kept. Neytiri comes to the base wearing Ash People clothes. She comes to Varang and asks where Jake is. Neytiri grabs her hair. Suddenly, she manages to release from her. Mills also comes into the tent. Neytiri runs away. Varang and Mills start to shoot at her. Ash People start to follow Neytiri. She destroys the surroundings by shooting explosives. Varang follows Neytiri. Meanwhile, Garvin starts a large excavator. He breaks the cage Jake is held in. Garvin hides Jake under the excavator arm and escapes. Jake asks, "Why are you doing this?" Garvin explains about the Tolkien massacre. He asks Jake to stop it.
Jake is caught by a flasher and shot by a helicopter. When they are going to send a missile, Spider appears in front of it. He blocks Jake. General Ardmore orders to take the shot, but Mills and Parker stop it because they need Spider alive. Neytiri flies there and destroys the helicopter. She escapes with Jake and Spider. Jake tells Neytiri Spider is a threat to the people and they have to kill him. He takes a knife and goes into the forest with Spider. He tries to kill him, but Jake cannot do it. He hugs him. Neytiri also comes near. Jake goes to meet Toruk and rides it. He comes to his people riding Toruk. He tells others to gather clans within 1 day's journey. They gather clans. Jake has a council with Tolkiens. Jake invites them to join the war, but they refuse. At that time, Loak comes with Payakan and other Tolkiens. He tells what happened to Payakan's birth clan and shows Tanuk. Tanuk starts to speak. He shows his wounds caused by humans to others. The elder Tolkien leaves, saying they will decide. Scoresby explains to others about Tolkien's. Colonel Mills comes there and says he can bring Jake and Spider again. General Ardmore tells him you are grounded. Jake gives a gun to Loak and tells him to stay inside. A huge army comes with ships and helicopters. Jake's army also prepares. A huge flux comes from the sea. The army looks for hostiles. Human army gets a signal from a huge Tolkien. Big Tolkiens come toward the army. Tolkiens start to attack. They destroy boats and ships. Navy people attack from the air, destroying helicopters and carriers. Metkayina clan attacks from the sea. Scoresby shoots a Tolkien. Navy people start winning. Then Ash people come with Colonel Mills and attack. They destroy other Navy clans using guns and flamethrowers. Children see this. Kiri steps forward and says they cannot win. She connects with Iwa. Others defend her. Spider joins Kiri. He connects his Q to the root. Iwa does not respond. Tuck joins them. They see a beautiful vision. Suddenly they disconnect due to a quake. Neytiri sees Varong run out of fire. She follows her. Metkayina tribe is defeated at sea. Jake is attacked by Ash people. He hits a floating stone and falls into the sea. Varong throws fire at Neytiri. She falls into the sea. She comes to shore. She sees Ronal in the water.
She pulls her out. Ronal says, I am dying. They argue again. Spider finds Kiri. Ronal gives birth to a child. She names her Prill. Ronal dies. Neytiri takes the baby. Ash clan captures Took. Mills shows Took to Neytiri. Jake and Loak see this. Mills tells Jake to bring Spider. Scoresby and others hunt Tulkuns. Kiri is with Spider calling to Iwa. Sea creatures gather around her. Air attacks continue. Toruk wakes and attacks. Tanuk attacks Scoresby and drags him into the sea. General Ardmore orders to abandon the ship. Jake and Loak sneak into the ship. Spider and Kiri also enter the ship. Spider surrenders to Mills. Mills leaves with Spider. He tells Loak to cover him. Loak attacks Ash people. Loak kills guards around Neytiri. Neytiri escapes. Varong follows her and tries to cut her. Kiri grabs Varong's Q. Kiri scares Varong. Varong runs away. Mills escapes with Spider. Jake follows them. A flux appears from the sea, absorbing metal. Jake catches Spider. They fall. Jake lands on a floating stone. Mills tries to take Jake. Spider stands between them, protecting Jake. Spider shoots an arrow when Mills moves forward. Jake and Mills fight. Spider tries to load his bow. Spider loads the arrow and tries to shoot Mills. Spider falls while doing that. Mills catches him. They hang. Jake pulls them up. Neytiri and Loak surround them. Jake tells them to wait. Mills jumps down. He falls while others watch. Then they hug each other.